The studio lights beamed down brightly, casting a sharp glow over the polished debate stage. As the cameras went live, the audience, packed tightly in their seats, leaned forward in anticipation. The atmosphere crackled with energy. This was not just another interview. No, this was a showdown the entire nation had been waiting for. The stage was set, and seated in his usual composed demeanor was former President Donald Trump. His signature red tie was neatly knotted, his posture confident, exuding an air of command. Across from him sat Captain Emily Carter, a highly decorated U.S. Marine officer renowned for her fearless, outspoken views on military affairs. The debate began civilly, with both exchanging pleasantries, but it didn't take long for the tension to mount. As the conversation shifted toward military policies, the atmosphere thickened. Emily, her patience visibly thinning, leaned forward, her eyes locked onto Trump's. "With all due respect, Mr. Trump, your leadership failed our troops," she said, her voice steady but charged with frustration. "You don't understand the sacrifices we make. You make reckless decisions that put American lives in danger, and that's unacceptable." A heavy silence filled the room. The air seemed to still as the weight of her words sank in. The host darted his gaze between the two, feeling the temperature of the conversation rise dramatically. The audience murmured, some whispering, others gasping. Emily's expression was unwavering, her military composure intact, but her words cut deep. Yet, if she had expected Trump to flinch, she was mistaken. Instead, he leaned back slightly, an amused smirk forming on his face. He adjusted his tie, took a deep breath, and responded, "Captain Carter, I respect your service, probably more than you realize. But let me make something clear." He pointed in her direction, his voice firm, commanding attention. "I built one of the strongest militaries this country has ever seen. I gave our troops what they needed after years of neglect. You might not like my approach, but the truth is, under my leadership, America's enemies feared us." Emily inhaled, about to counter, but Trump wasn't finished. He leaned in, his tone sharpening, his words deliberate. "You talk about sacrifice? I've sat with the families of fallen heroes. I've looked them in the eye. Do you know what they wanted? Strength. Not weakness, not political correctness. Raw, undeniable strength. The kind that wins wars, not loses them. Maybe instead of throwing accusations at me on live television, you should think about that." A flicker of something crossed Emily's face. Disbelief, frustration, or perhaps something deeper. Her fingers tightened around the armrests of her chair. She had faced intense combat situations, stood before high-ranking generals, and delivered speeches to battalions of soldiers, yet something about this exchange unsettled her. The cameras zoomed in, capturing the subtle tremble in her hands, the clenching of her jaw. Sensing the thickening tension, the moderator quickly intervened, steering the discussion elsewhere, but it was too late. The moment had already ignited a wildfire. Within hours, the debate was all over social media. Some praised Emily for standing her ground, hailing her as a voice of truth. Others declared Trump had shut her down with undeniable facts, proving his dominance once again. As the debate wrapped up, Emily gave a respectful nod before stepping off the stage, but her mind was racing. She had walked into that studio determined to challenge Trump, to dismantle his reputation as a military leader. Yet, as she walked toward the exit, a different realization weighed on her. Love him or hate him, Trump was not a man easily outmatched in a battle of words. As she stepped backstage, the gravity of the exchange settled in. She had gone head-to-head with one of the most formidable political figures in modern history, and while she had held her ground, there was no denying that he had turned the narrative on her before she had the chance to counter effectively. A producer quickly approached, microphone in hand, eyes alight with curiosity. "Captain Carter, any thoughts on the debate? Do you feel you got your point across?" She hesitated. That hesitation was unusual for her. Normally, she would have a sharp, well-prepared answer, but now, she found herself searching for the right words. Finally, she exhaled and said, "I stand by my beliefs, but I won't deny that he knows how to command a room." Meanwhile, Backstage, Trump was shaking hands with his aides, that signature smirk still playing on his lips. "She came here to make a statement," he said, glancing at one of his advisors. "But I think she just learned a lesson in strength. She's tough, but you can't outmaneuver me that easily." Outside the studio, Emily's phone buzzed incessantly, calls, texts, social media notifications exploding with reactions. Some messages hailed her courage, while others mocked her hesitation. She sighed, realizing that, no matter how she personally felt about the debate, the internet had already chosen its narrative. As she climbed into her waiting car, she gazed out at the flashing cameras, the swarm of reporters eager for more drama. She had entered that debate with a mission: to expose Trump's flaws as a military leader, to prove he wasn't the strongman he claimed to be. But now, as the car pulled away from the studio, she found herself questioning things she had once believed were undeniable truths. One thing was certain: this debate wouldn't be forgotten anytime soon. Whether she liked it or not, she had just become the center of one of the most viral political moments of the year.